Hello and welcome to our review of Veronica Mars. This week we are discussing An Echolls Family Christmas. And I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
This episode originally aired December 14th, 2004, attracting, I believe, a season low of 1.9 million viewers, which is sad because this is a great episode.
Huh. Like, what was the competition for this particular show at the time on television that it would have ended up with such low numbers?
I think it was probably they had taken 2 weeks off, and it was pretty close to Christmas, so you're dealing with a lot of nonsense there. I don't think there's anything like specific that was up
Yeah,
against
trying
this.
to remember back to Christmas of that year. There's nothing immediately sticking out within my mind with media stuff.
Alrighty, Dave. So let's start off with the number one film at the box office this week. Any guesses?
Hmm.
It's nice
Finally
and
heading into
chilly
the sun.
outside. We're gonna go to a movie in December of 2004. What are we thinking? It is not
Well,
National
whether or
Treasure. It's a
not,
different film.
yeah, whether or not National Treasures kind of had its day in the sun and given the spot to somebody else. Again, with those particular films at the time and around December of that time of year. Uh,
I'll give you a hint. It's a sequel.
what is it? Curses. My brain is just kind of completely trapped on a particular sort of thing, though I know that's probably not it immediately, but around the time, the only thing that's kind of popped into my head was, no, that might have been early. No, lost the thought.
So it is Ocean's 12.
No, that tracks. One of the ones that was there, but it just immediately didn't come into view for me. But no, understandable.
And number one song in America this week, Dave. Any guesses what it could be? We know it's a new song.
That's definitely nice, though. It's also the case of what kind of song, questioning for things. Um, Again, nothing immediately that comes to my mind for stuff that we would have either been singing at the time or hearing on the radio. Mm,
It's
with my expertise of uh, musicians and whatnot from there, I just can't put a name or anything to it.
it is "Drop It Like It's Hot" by Snoop Dogg featuring Pharrell.
Yeah, yeah, that completely tracks. All the
It's
bloody dance floor music.
it's fine, I guess. Anyway,
It's it's there. Wonderful earworm that gets stuck in your head for eons upon eons.
yeah, I totally understand why it was successful because it's a very like catchy song, but I'm like, this ain't for me.
Meh.
Alrighty, now for video games. We've got a few to go over here. Um, some big ones, some big ones. So, December 1st, if you're a PC gamer, you could pick up Painkiller Battle Out of Hell, which is a game I've seen the box art for a million times. Well,
Yeah.
actually, technically, Battle Out of Hell is the expansion pack, but I've seen the box art for Painkiller a million times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also on December 1st, if you were a PC gamer, you could pick up Scrapland, also known as American McGee Presents Scrapland.
Yes. But also a mild case of what the heck is this game?
So, you know American McGee, the folks who did that Alice game.
Yes.
This is a game they did, except it's like robots and stuff.
On the one hand, understandable, but additionally, I have no idea about this.
Yeah, I don't think it was super popular. Also on December 1st, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Top Gun Combat Zones. Apparently they made it,
Did you know something for the Game Boy Advance?
I guess. December 2nd, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Metal Slug Advance, which is a much better option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also on December 2nd, if you had a PC, GameCube, PS2, or Xbox, you could pick up Prince of Persia Warrior Within.
Ah, yes. The edgy stage.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. December 5th, if you had a GameCube, you could pick up Mario Party 6.
Ah, yes. 6, with its marvelous day-night mechanic.
Yes, that's the one with the day night, right. Yes. December 6th, if you had a PC or an Xbox, you could pick up Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords.
Yes? Though I'm not sure if it was a case of that was one of the other good ones or a good sequel, or it was kind of just one of the throwaway ones.
Oh, it's a very good one.
Ah,
It's a very good one. December 6th, also, if you had a PC, you could pick up Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth.
yeah, yeah, that tracks.
December 7th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up, oh boy, Growlanzer Generations. I don't know what that is. Apparently, it's a tactical role-playing game.
Uh,
Also on December 7th, if you had, excuse me, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
yeah, with the things that were there at the time. Again, just the Kingdom Hearts series. Ugh.
It is very confusing, and I think this is the first Kingdom Hearts game I played.
Mildly surprising, but also the case of you were probably one of the lucky ones. Though, lucky might be a little bit questionable.
I think it was because I didn't have a PS2 at the time.
Huh.
So it probably would have been. And this one had the card-based battle system. Yeah, I remember this.
Yes, with this one.
Continuing on, also on December 7th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up a game called Kuon? Kuon. I don't know. It's a survival horror game from Software.
I
So,
believe I remember hearing about this particular one when it came along, though From Software has many more things in its time to be ready to place into stuff from there. But yeah, it was a start with this one at the very least.
also on December 7th, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up It's Mr. Pants.
Yeah, yeah.
What is this?
It was one of those
Oh, it's like a
particular.
puzzle game.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's made by Rare? What the hell? Interesting.
Yeah, one of the particular things they got together, trying to get some stuff together after their big successes, but eh, there's only so much they could do before the buyout happened a couple years later.
Also on December 7th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up Mega Man X8.
Yes.
Also on December 7th, if you had a Nintendo DS, you could pick up Ridge Racer DS. Oh my god.
Supposedly, I'm drawing a complete blank.
I mean, Ridge Racer had some good games. It just feels like a weird choice to put on the DS, but whatever.
Popular system at the time.
Moving on to December 8th, if you had a PC, you could pick up The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yeah, because that was the thing.
It was, and it was already on Xbox at the time, and this game is apparently really, really good, but I've never had a chance to play it.
Mildly surprising, but also nice to hear.
Moving on, still on December 8th, if you had a Nintendo DS, you could pick up Sprung.
Uh,
Oh, I've seen the
Yay.
box for this. I don't. Oh, it's that dating game that came out on the DS.
oh dear. Again, not surprising, but additionally, oh dear.
It did not review well. Also, on December 8th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up this little game called Beautiful Joe 2.
Ah, yes, the Beautiful Joe series.
Yeah, I would love to get a new Beautiful Joe.
It'd be interesting, but again, it's kind of run its course. Like, I'm not even sure where the heck it's kind of sitting right now. They could possibly do stuff with it, but it'd kind of be like, it's sat for so long, even with all the stuff they have done with it already.
Capcom, I want a new Beautiful Joe.
It would not hurt.
Even,
Well,
okay,
possibly. I'm not sure where your standing is at the moment in the market.
you know what? I would even take if they just took the original two games, gave them a nice little quick coat of paint, and re released them.
Yeah, that never hurts. Though it might be the question of how much do you want to mess too much with the style of it from the GameCube versions before updating it?
No, no, no,
Because
no.
it was definitely a thing with it.
No, 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 no. You misunderstand. All I want them to do is bump the resolution up and re release it. Don't go changing the art style. Don't do nothing with that. Just make it run in like a proper like 1080 or 4K and re-release it.
Hmm.
That's all I want.
Name.
And finally, on December 14th, if you had an Xbox, you could pick up Gun Griffin Allied Strike, which sounds like the most dude bro game ever.
Maybe just a touch.
Apparently, some of the games in the series were pretty good, though. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to this episode of Veronica Mars. Okay.
Yay, with all the holiday spirit it entails.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul, we all know you have your evil, horrible schemes for the holidays.
So we start off with Veronica and Keith decorating their Christmas tree, and Keith making sure there's an appropriate amount of Padres merch on it. Meanwhile, Duncan dances around drunkenly at a poker party with Logan, Weevil, and two others, Sean and Connor. Weevil wins $5,000 from Logan when they both go all in. However, when Logan opens his money box, he finds that the money is missing. Weevil grows angry and asks each member for the $1,000. The next day at school, Duncan confronts Weevil, who stole his laptop. Veronica approaches him, and Duncan tells him about his problem. Duncan tells Veronica that his computer contains some private information regarding their past relationship. Veronica asks Weevil for the computer back, but he refuses. Weevil explains why he was at the card game and says that Logan had the opportunity to hide the money during the game. Logan's mother, Lynn, visits Keith and tells him about the threatening letters that a mysterious person sent her husband. Later, Veronica talks to Duncan, who gives his side of the story. Duncan also blames Logan. Later, Duncan confronts Logan about stealing the money, but he refuses to give any details. When Keith visits the Echolls' house, he finds a pumpkin outside their front door with Aaron's face on it and a knife through it. Veronica stops by the Echolls' house and talks to Logan, and she says that she thinks that Connor stole the money. Veronica visits Connor's movie set, and she questions him about the poker game. However, he does not know who could have stolen the money. Veronica attempts to visit Sean, but his father is away. After deducing that the pumpkin probably has something to do with a Halloween encounter or incident, Keith goes to the caterer of the party Aaron was at that day. The caterer tells him that Aaron was having an affair at the party. The next day, Veronica talks to Sean, who tells her that he thinks that Weevil stole the money. Keith talks to Aaron, who admits to the affair and says that it was with his agent's wife, Monica. Veronica frets about Duncan's diary before Veronica comes up and makes a deal with Logan. He will host another poker game so Veronica can determine who the thief is. At the poker game, Veronica reveals her findings. Duncan was faking being drunk in order to win the money, not steal it. Connor was simply using a muscle enhancer. And Logan is not the thief because his room was messy, and Veronica figures that if he had the money, he wouldn't have to tear it apart looking for it. Veronica figures out that Sean is the criminal, not Weevil. Sean stuffed the money into the recycling and picked it up the next morning. Sean and Weevil go off by themselves, presumably so Weevil can get some revenge.
You know, as Weevil does.
As Weevil does. Keith talks to the caterer again and asks her to describe the woman she fired. The poker guests then go to the Aaron Echolls party. Veronica, off by herself, finds Jake Kane and confronts him about the pictures of her taken by his head of security, Lawrence Weedman. Jake screams at her that he doesn't know, and Keith views the scene. Jake then angrily talks to his wife Celeste, who we at this point presume actually sent Clarence to take the photos. The majority of the guests go outside to sing Christmas carols, while Aaron is confronted by his stalker, the woman who the caterer fired. The stalker stabs Aaron, but with the other guests do not notice because they aren't there. Keith then tackles the stalker, and Lynn calls for an ambulance as Logan looks on, ending the episode on a cliffhanger. Ha ha ha! So, what do we think about this episode, Dave?
Well, on the one hand, it's one heck of a way to make a holiday episode. I'm sure there's probably the one or two other holiday movies and or episodes of certain TV series that have done something similar in some sort of case, but yeah, very nice with Veronica Mars. Claps to you. But additionally, just get this out of the way and out of my thoughts. The mild bias I have with things every bloody year. Just the case of everyone throwing Christmas or the other particular holidays in her face, even earlier on, like not even shifting over into fall as of yet. Just all the particular stuff from there. Just, oh God. But then, of course, internet age, with all the particular stuff that happens, those people exist. It's just something you have to accept and be ready to hang on to a blunt object if they come speaking to you.
Alrighty, well, that was certainly a thing.
Yeah, but
I
I think additionally, just basing the main story of the show with a poker game between all the guys and all the annex with that, with throwing the additional mystery of famous movie star and whatnot there as well. It was interesting to sort of see the pieces sort of fall together, everything sort of kind of go along, explaining on from there. I think it's also the question of whether or not they're sort of messing a bit more with the style of mystery sort of shows, going into a more show and explain sort of thing that a lot of other mystery shows of the time or have certain popularity now kind of do in certain cases. Since I think this is like one of the first times that Veronica Mars sort of takes this stab at storytelling.
Yeah, it's the first time we kind of see her kind of like lay out how everything kind of happened in this very like Columbo-esque way.
Mm.
Yes, I will say that I don't think this is the first. It's not the first appearance, but it's an early appearance of Jake Kane, played by Kyle Secor, and I feel the need to bring that up because he played Tim Bayliss in Homicide: Life on the Street, which is an amazing series, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's amazing.
Another thing to add to the library, I suppose. But additionally, also kind of an interesting case of probably watching the episode. I knew all the particular characters, but it didn't immediately click until after I watched it or finished up with it. It's like, wait a minute, is the Kane actor somebody different?
What?
Or was it? No, I think maybe just the thought of with one of the actors either getting confused with one of the other particular ones that was on there. I believe with one of the. No, I believe with who Veronica was talking with in the office before his dad peers in on it. No.
Yeah, that's Jake Kane. That's Kyle Secor.
Okay with that.
He's been in like one or two episodes, I think, at this point, but he hasn't been like a major presence yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I think it's just the case of there was one of the other characters in the poker game. I believe it was Connor, the movie star that was there. I think it was the case of I remembered seeing him in some other particular stuff. It's like, oh, wait a minute, is that the actor for thing? Yeah, that might have been what confused me then.
Okay. That makes sense. So overall, I quite enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a fun little Christmas time fun.
And don't forget the Halloween nod it had to it. The marvelous jack-o'-lantern carving they had there.
Yes, there was a very nice jack-o'-lantern. I do appreciate that it ends on a very good cliffhanger and the kind of like, I don't know, I think the cliffhanger is really good, and I thought this was a fun episode. A fun Christmas episode that might end in murder.
You know, as some supposed episodes do.
It certainly does. So, if there's nothing else about this episode, next week we will be discussing Silence of the Lamb.
Wait a minute, I thought we were talking about Veronica Mars.
Haha! So in this episode, Veronica is going to help Mac, who we met a few episodes back,
Yes, yes.
find and reconnect with her birth parents and siblings. Meanwhile, Keith is temporarily reassigned to the sheriff's department in order to help with a case involving a serial killer.
Case if it was someone that was supposedly mentioned or someone new?
It's a new serial killer.
Oh, okay, because I remember start of the series and whatnot, they were jokingly saying, haha, how about that particular criminal that you've been looking into to try and catch?
No, that's just the murder of Lily Kane. This is someone different.
Okay.
Yes. So, until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.